Good morning to everybody, first of all. Second of all, today might be the day we get a 2018 Toyota Highlander, hopefully. Fingers crossed, man. It's a badass vehicle. It's got a warranty. It's reliable, so hopefully that's the case. But aside from that, I wanted to clarify some of the bullshit we're seeing people basically glorifying or idolizing. They're speaking of war stories. And they're talking like it's fun or entertaining, man. Some of it makes me feel as if they're not really speaking via first-hand experience, and a lot of it's fabricated, or they haven't really evolved out of that mindset. But I wanted to cover when it comes to being on the run, when it comes to having the law after you, being in the fast lane, being wanted for felonies, you know what I'm saying? Just being on felony probation and not reporting, being on the run, you're a felon, man. There's a felony warrant for your arrest. That's how things really take place. You know, there's not much glory to it, homie. And a lot of it's not high stakes. A lot of it's just being caught in the system. You know, not learning or navigating the system. Not learning how to stop providing that corrupt system with ammunition that can and will be utilized against us. Even though it's a corrupt system, even though it revolves around inequality and evil people maintaining their positions of power, we can still beat that trap. But once you identify a trap, you got to learn how to navigate that and avoid it. And you got to teach your fellow man how to dismantle and avoid that same trap. You know what I mean? You don't just pretend it doesn't exist to keep stepping in that bitch. Come on. So I was on the run on many different occasions for various different crimes. Most of the time it was just not reporting and being on felony probation, being on the run. Sometimes it was for some serious fucking charges though. And I'm telling you, regardless of the situation, being on the run, the longer you're looking over your shoulder, the longer you're basically exhausting resources, man. And I don't have a family of resources, and I don't like to feed off the next man. I don't feel comfortable sleeping on somebody's couch with them supporting me, bro. That's not a situation that I enjoy being in. You know what I'm saying? But being on the run, not having a family with resources, and not wanting to put yourself or become reliant upon others, you're gonna be hitting licks. You're gonna be doing whatever you have to do to keep that shit going. I mean, and it's disturbing, bro. And at that point in time, you feel trapped. I mean, you pretty much are. You're going to do time. I was addicted to heroin, personally. So you're not going to go turn yourself in. You're pretty much in a trap. But if you survive that trap, which I'm making this video, obviously I'm not dead, homie. This ain't poltergeist form, bro. You know, so I have died a couple times, flatlining a garga. I have faced all day, 25 to life at one point, being incarcerated. And I have been using dope, hitting licks, so on and so forth. And obviously, luckily, fortunately, I survived. But the reason why I'm still alive, I mean, you can't roll the dice and get lucky over and over again when it comes to overdosing or beating cases. You have to evolve out of that mindset at some point. And that took me reflecting on what was going on with the planet. You know what I'm saying? What was going on with evil people in power? What they encourages us to do, bro. If we're falling into a trap they've designed that they're encouraging us to dwell within, bro, then I'm not really... Come on, man. The only true revenge is success. Slamming dope and falling into a trap and hitting the lick, even if you come up on a few racks, people are telling themselves, yeah, man, I came up, yeah, man, this is my revenge. Nah, fool, you're just providing them ammunition. You're not going to hold on to them resources, let alone invest them into a logical aspect of our society, or you're not going to invest them to a logical degree or extent, bro. You're going to run through them resources, being in the fast lane, doing dope or slinging, and end up dying or rotting in a cage. That's the trap. So don't convince yourself that you're getting revenge, homie. Real shit, or that you're coming up if you're rolling the dice with your freedom or livelihood. So anyways, I've been on the run, convincing myself of that shit, in the trap, basically, at that point, feeling like you have nothing to lose, feeling like the odds are against you. And it got to a point to where I felt like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm doing dope, so I'm paranoid. You know what I mean? Dope makes you paranoid. It affects your mind. But everybody's predisposed to this shit to a different degree. Dope, eventually, you'll lose your sanity and quality of life to dope, especially uppers like methamphetamines and stuff. I was predominantly a heroin addict. But when you're in the fast lane, you're going to do dope, bro. And I would do some meth every now and then if it was there. I just predominantly was a heroin addict. So I didn't enjoy the feeling meth gave me, you know, but I'd still do it out of misery and restlessness. So anyways, you know, when you're doing dope like that and shit, you can become paranoid. You can be hearing things, sleep deprivation. That wasn't me, though, bro. I have a routine to some degree, even when I'm in the fast lane. I fall apart if I don't sleep. I fall apart if I don't eat. I got a real fast metabolism. Some people can skip sleep for days. Some people don't have to eat for days. That's not me, though. Even when I was on a run, even when I was strung out, felony warrants for my arrest, I had to eat. I had to sleep. Real shit. And that's why I didn't really hear voices or, you know what I mean, lose my mind to the degree that I could have, you know. But all odds against you, knowing that the system, you know, has you in its clutches, feeling like you can't trust the people around you, you know what I'm saying? That's not good. I mean, that's disturbing. That's paranoia to some degree. Even if they are trying to murder you or set you up or rob you or come up on you, you're putting yourself in that position to some extent. You know what I mean? And you're keeping yourself there, bro. There ain't no metaphysical energy or wall stopping you from saying, hey, you know what, screw this, bro. I'm just going to go turn myself in real quick, do my time, get out and change my mindset. You know what I mean? But it's really hard, homie, to shift your mindset from one lane to another when you have zero role models. And our society encourages the mayhem. And they teach you to value everything but your health and freedom, let alone a point to your existence, learning from your mistakes, earning your right to be on this planet. You turn on the TV, the radio, the internet. It doesn't say any of that shit. They encourage you to reflect on what's paramount. Nah, bro, it encourages you to obsess over what you'll most likely never acquire. That's fucking crazy, bro. Anyways, being in that mindset, feeling like you have nothing to lose, feeling like my own camaradas or homies were basically my own enemies at times, just because, you know, you're not in the right mindset, homie. You're not hearing voices, but then again, fool, you're putting yourself in a position to where you do have all the odds against you. You're putting yourself amongst people that they do have or feel as if they have nothing to lose. So, you know, shit escalates, bro. Especially with dope, other people aren't sleeping, man. Shit can pop off, and subconsciously you know this. I mean, you know at any moment in time you catch a life case, any moment in time somebody might be turn into a dog that might bite. You might have to put them down. You know, that's a stressful mindset to be in, or energy to have to deal with. And I used to take seal bombs. If you don't know what seal bombs are, fishermen use them, I guess. I'm not a fisherman, man, but I got my hands on seal bombs on a couple different occasions, and a large quantity of them. And they're basically, I think, a quarter stick of dynamite. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? I don't know the exact logistics of it, but I know the gist. I mean, they're about a quarter stick of dynamite with a waterproof fuse, and it's a green fuse. It's real thick, and they're about that big. And I used to duct tape them all together to have a bundle of them, to where it was basically like just a bundle of dynamite strapped to my chest. And that's how helpless and depressed I was. I'd be mobbing around with a bunch of dynamite strapped to my chest, essentially. You know what I mean? And ready to blow that shit in case one of even my homies or anybody was to mistake my kindness for weakness. Or if I felt like I was pushed into a corner to where, hey, fool, I'm going to get got, so I got to do as much damage as possible. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, that's the kind of mindset that being on the run, being in the fast lane leads to. It ain't no fun and partying with women and all kinds of crazy coming up and pulling licks, and oh man, you ain't got nothing to show for it after the case. And that's if you're alive after being on the run, bro. It's extremely counterproductive. Real shit, man. Some of the other mindsets, just waking up, you know what I'm saying? I'd have a crime partner sometimes. Most of the time I was alone, but a lot of times whoever I was with would be like, hey man, we're gonna start getting sick, fool, we gotta get on it, this and that, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I tell them, nah, I haven't gotten my 6 hours minimum of sleep. Or I'd be like, hey, fool, I got to get my coffee and my breakfast. They're like, fool, you're on the run, homie, and there's hooters around the corner and this and that, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I think somebody might have called the police, and I'm like, I need my coffee. I tell them, I want to die, homie. If I can't have my coffee and a damn breakfast sandwich, homie, I'd rather be chopped up with a cold steel machete. They're just like, whoa, man, this fool really has a fast metabolism, though. That shit's crazy. But that's what's being on the run is really like, dog. It ain't anything to be glorified. You know what I mean? It ain't a slumber party, homie. It's stressful, it's exhausting, you know what I'm saying? And it's fucking dangerous, I mean, regarding your freedom and your livelihood, regarding the well-being of others and shit. You gotta do things to keep things going, bro, and that's the definition of rolling the dice. I mean, like a miniaturized volcano that might erupt at any moment, bro. That's crazy as all hell. Let me know what you think of the situation when it comes to being on the run, when it comes to people making it seem like it's a never-ending slumber party, when in reality, you're like struggling upstream like a malnourished Arctic salmon, homie, trying to spawn. But there's a bunch of electric eels, and they keep shocking the genitalia region over and over again. That's what being on the run is really like. Struggling upstream like an Arctic salmon with your genitalia being electrocuted simultaneously. Hit that notification button, though. Make sure it's on all. You know what's cracking. We're going to keep breaking things down. Every now and then, we're going to go into, you know, my personal life and first-hand experiences. But most of the time, it's about reality, developing a solution regarding world-destroying cycles and the misery and restlessness we see people exhibiting, regardless of their good fortune, regardless of what they've been allotted.